Crixnack studied his target through the scope of his plasma rifle. The human diplomat, John Martinez, sat alone at a table in the space station's food court. This would be easy. Too easy for someone of Crixnack's skill. The Valeth assassin had never failed a contract in 300 cycles. His forearms made him deadly with any weapon. His skin could change color to match any background. His eyes could see in every spectrum of light. Killing one soft human would be simple. Target acquired, Crixnax whispered into his communicator. Human male, John Martinez. No security, no armor. Taking the shot. He squeezed the trigger. The plasma bolt flew straight and true. Then something impossible happened. John Martinez dropped his fork at exactly the right moment. He bent down to pick it up. The plasma bolt passed through the space where his head had been and hit the wall behind him. Crixnax blinked all 6 eyes. Had the human known? No. Impossible. John Martinez stood up with his fork, completely unaware of how close he had come to death. Technical malfunction, Crixnax reported. Preparing second attempt. He moved to a new position. This time he would use poison. The deadly Thaxian venom could kill any species in seconds. One drop in the human's drink would end this contract. Crixnax waited until John Martinez went to the bathroom. Moving like a shadow, the assassin approached the table. He held the vial of poison over the human's coffee cup. Suddenly, a cleaning robot bumped into Crixnax's leg. The vial slipped from his fingers. It fell toward the coffee cup, but at the last second, a passing server picked up the cup to refill it. The vial shattered harmlessly on the table. What are the odds? Crixnax muttered in his native tongue. John Martinez returned to find the broken glass. Oh, did something fall? He asked the server. Just some decorative crystal, sir. I'll clean it up, the server replied. Crixnax felt something strange. Fear. He had never failed twice on the same target. The Valeth Syndicate did not accept failure. He decided to try a direct approach. No more fancy weapons or poisons. He would simply walk up behind the human and snap his neck. Quick and clean. Crixnax activated his camouflage and moved through the crowd. John Martinez was typing on his datapad, completely focused on his work. Perfect. The assassin reached out with 2 of his powerful arms. His claws were inches from the human's neck when the station's artificial gravity flickered. For 1 second, everyone floated off the ground. Crixnax drifted backward, away from his target. When gravity returned, John Martinez had moved to another table to join a group of other diplomats. 3 failures, Crixnax whispered. This is not normal. He watched as John Martinez laughed with his colleagues. The human seemed completely ordinary. No special powers, no advanced technology, just a normal, fragile human. But something was protecting him. Crixnax remembered the old stories. Whispers among assassins about humans being untouchable. He had always thought they were just excuses from incompetent killers. Now he wasn't so sure. He made one final attempt. A micro-explosive drone no bigger than an insect. It flew silently toward John Martinez's table. The drone was programmed to attach to the human's clothing and detonate. The drone reached its target. It was about to land when John Martinez suddenly stood up. I forgot my briefcase, he said to his friends. The drone, programmed to avoid moving targets, veered away and attached itself to a nearby plant instead. The explosion was small, but enough to destroy the plant. John Martinez turned at the sound. What was that? He asked. Probably just the ventilation system, someone replied. Crixnax deactivated his camouflage and walked away. 4 attempts, 4 impossible failures. The odds were astronomical. As he left the food court, he noticed something else. Other beings were watching John Martinez. Beings that moved like hunters, like assassins. Crixnax realized he might not be the only one failing to kill a human today. Crixnax sat in the darkest corner of the Nebula Bar. The place was full of aliens from every corner of the galaxy. Smugglers, traitors, and yes, assassins. He needed answers. A blue-skinned figure approached his table. Zarath of the Kultian, Order. She was one of the deadliest killers in known space. Her species could move faster than most eyes could follow. You look troubled, Valeth, she said, sitting down without invitation. I had a strange contract today, Crixnax replied carefully. Zarath leaned forward. Let me guess, a human? Crixnax's eyes widened. How did you know? Because I had the same problem last week, she said. Target was a human female, Sarah Bennett, a scientist. Should have been simple. What happened? Zarath's face showed frustration. Everything went wrong. My blade broke. My poison turned to water. When I tried to push her off a balcony, a maintenance drone appeared out of nowhere and caught her. The same thing happened to me, Crixnax said. 4 attempts. All failed. A shadow fell across their table. Bekthal of the Shadow. Guild stood there. His species was known for being able to phase through solid matter. Mind if I join this conversation about failing to kill humans? He asked. Both assassins stared at him. You too? Zarath asked. Bekthal nodded. 3 different human targets, this month. 0 success. It's like the universe itself protects them. The 3 assassins looked at each other. This was bigger than they thought. We need information, Crixnax said. Real information. I know someone, Bekthal offered. An old data broker. He collects records of every assassination in the galaxy. They found the data broker in the station's lower levels. He was a small creature with huge eyes and 12 fingers that never stopped moving across his screens. Assassination records? Which species? He asked. Humans, Crixnax said. The broker's fingers froze. Humans? Why would you want those records? Just show us, Zarath demanded. The broker pulled up file after file. The assassins watched in disbelief. This can't be right, Bekthal said. The records showed thousands of attempted assassinations on humans. Not a single success in over 100 years. Look at these reports, Crixnax pointed. Weapon malfunctions, freak accidents. Impossible. Coincidences. There's a pattern, Zarath observed. Every time someone tries to kill a human, something stops them. The broker nodded. There are rumors. Old stories about humans having protectors. Invisible guardians. That's just mythology, Bekthal scoffed. Is it? The broker asked. Look at the data. No other species has this kind of protection. Only humans. Crixnax studied the records more closely. Wait. Look at this cluster of failures. They all happened on the same day 50 years ago. The great attempt, the broker whispered. 7 of the best assassins in the galaxy. They all targeted different humans at the exact same moment. What happened? Zarath asked. Complete failure. But more than that, 3 of the assassins went insane. They claimed they saw something. Something impossible. What did they see? Crixnax pressed. The broker shrugged. They couldn't describe it. They just kept saying, the Watchers, over and over. The 3 assassins exchanged glances. We need to test this, Crixnax said. Scientifically. How? Bekthal asked. We work together. 1 human target. Multiple simultaneous attacks. We record everything. They chose their target carefully. A human male named Kevin Harris. He worked alone in the station's research lab. No security. No weapons. They planned for days. Every angle covered. Every possibility considered. The moment came. Zarath would attack from the left. Bekthal from the right. Crixnax from above. 3 killers. 1 target. Perfect timing. They moved as one. Zarath's blade flashed. Bekthal phased through the wall. Crixnax dropped from the ceiling. And then everything went wrong. The lights flickered. Zarath slipped on nothing. Bekthal materialized inside a storage cabinet. Crixnax's rope snapped. Kevin Harris continued working, oblivious to the 3 elite assassins failing around him. As they regrouped outside, bruised and confused, Crixnax noticed something in the security footage. "Look," he whispered. "Right, before we attacked." The video showed a shimmer in the air, like heat waves but forming a pattern, almost like a face. The three assassins knew then. The stories were true. Something was protecting the humans. And it was watching them. Sarah Bennett walked through the crowded market district of Station Omega-7. She loved exploring alien cultures, studying how different species lived and worked together. As a xenobiologist, every day brought new discoveries, but today felt different. She couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching her. She stopped at a fruit stand, examining strange purple spheres from a distant world. The vendor, a four-eyed creature, smiled at her interest. "Very sweet, very good," it said in broken standard. "You try?" As Sarah reached for her credit chip, she saw movement in the corner of her eye. A shadow that disappeared too quickly. "Is something wrong?" the vendor asked. "No, just thought I saw." She shook her head. "Never mind." She continued through the market, but the feeling grew stronger. Someone was definitely following her. Sarah decided to test her theory. She turned, suddenly, into a narrow alley. If someone was following her, they would have to show themselves. The alley was empty, but as she turned to leave, a heavy crate fell from above. It should have crushed her. Instead, a sudden gust of wind pushed her backward. The crate smashed, harmlessly on the ground. "That's impossible," she whispered. "There's no wind in a space station." Meanwhile, Crixnax watched from a hidden position. He hadn't dropped the crate, but he had seen who did. Another assassin. One he didn't recognize. The pattern was becoming clear. Humans weren't just protected from his guild. They were protected from everyone. Sarah hurried back to her lab, shaken by the near miss. She ran a full medical scan on herself, looking for any technology that might explain the strange events. The scan showed nothing unusual. She was completely normal. No implants. No genetic modifications. Just a regular human. "Computer, show me." "Security footage from the market," she ordered. The videos appeared on her screens. She watched herself walking through the crowds. Then she saw it. Brief distortions in the air around her. Like ripples in water. "Computer, analyze these anomalies." "Unknown. Phenomenon detected," the computer replied. "Readings suggest localized probability distortions." Probability distortions? That's not possible. But the data was clear. Something was bending the laws of chance around her. Across the station, the three assassins met again. They had been watching different humans, gathering data. "It's not just random luck," Zareth reported. "I measured quantum fluctuations near my target. They're off the charts. My sensors detected gravitational anomalies," Bechthal added. "Tiny ones, but enough to change the path of projectiles." Crixnax nodded. "And I've seen visual distortions. Whatever protects them, it's altering reality itself." They compared their findings. Every human on the station showed the same patterns. The protection wasn't technological, it wasn't biological. It was something else entirely. "We need to go deeper," Crixnax decided. "We need to find out why humans have this protection." Sarah couldn't sleep that night. The strange events haunted her. She decided to run more tests. She set up an experiment. Simple physics tests. Dropping objects, measuring trajectories, recording probabilities. The results made no sense. When she was in danger, even simulated danger, the laws of physics seemed to bend. Objects fell differently. Energies dissipated unexpectedly. "This is impossible," she muttered, running the tests again. But the results were consistent. Something was protecting her. Something that could alter reality. She remembered old Earth stories. Guardian angels. Protective spirits. She had always dismissed them as mythology. Now she wasn't so sure. The assassins, watching through hidden cameras, saw her experiments. They saw the same impossible results. "She's starting to understand," Crixnax observed. "Should we stop her?" Bechthal asked. "No," Zareth said. "Let her investigate. She might find answers we can't." Sarah worked through the night. She cross-referenced her findings with historical records. Strange patterns emerged. Humans surviving impossible odds. Accidents that should have been fatal but weren't. As dawn approached on the station's artificial day cycle, she made a decision. She would find out what was protecting humanity. She didn't know that 3 of the galaxy's deadliest assassins had made the same decision, and she didn't know that the Watchers were aware of all of them. The truth was closer than any of them realized, and it would change everything they thought they knew about humans. The ancient ruins stretched across the dead planet's surface like broken teeth. Crixnax, Zarath, and Bekthal stood at the entrance of a massive structure, their scanners working overtime. "This place is older than any known civilization," Zarath said, reading her device. The data broker was right. The broker had told them about this world, a planet where the first evidence of human protection was recorded. A place so old that most species had forgotten it existed. "The air is breathable," Bekthal reported. "Barely." They entered the ruins carefully. Strange symbols covered the walls. Not human writing, but something else. Something that made their eyes hurt when they looked too long. "These patterns," Crixnax observed. "They're similar to the distortions we saw around humans." Deep inside the structure, they found a chamber. In its center stood a crystalline pillar, still glowing after countless millennia. "It's some kind of data storage," Zarath said, connecting her scanner. "I'm downloading everything." The information flooded their screens. Ancient records, treaties, and there, buried in the data, they found it. The Terra Accord. "This can't be real," Bekthal whispered. The record spoke of beings called the Watchers, entities that existed outside normal space-time. They had made contact with early humans thousands of years ago. "Look at this," Crixnax pointed. "The agreement. Humans provide something the Watchers need. In return, the Watchers protect them. But what could humans possibly offer such powerful beings?" Zarath wondered. Before they could read more, they heard footsteps. Someone else was in the ruins. A human entered the chamber, Kevin Harris, the researcher they had tried to kill days ago. He carried archaeological tools and looked surprised to see them. "Oh, hello," Kevin said cheerfully. "I didn't expect to find anyone else here. Are you archaeologists too?" The 3 assassins tensed. This was their chance. No station security here, no witnesses. Crixnax moved first. He lunged at Kevin with deadly precision, but his foot caught on nothing, and he sprawled on the ground. Zarath tried next. She threw a knife that should have been impossible to dodge. A piece of ceiling chose that moment to fall, deflecting the blade. Bekthal attempted to phase through Kevin. Instead, he passed through a weak spot in the floor and fell into a lower chamber. Kevin watched all this with mild confusion. "Are you folks all right? These ruins can be tricky to navigate." He walked to the crystal pillar, completely unaware of the 3 failed assassination attempts. "Fascinating structure, isn't it? I've been studying these ruins for months." "You can read these symbols?" Crixnax asked, getting up slowly. "Some of them," Kevin nodded. "They tell an amazing story about humanity's first contact with something beyond our understanding." "The Watchers," Zarath said. Kevin looked surprised. "You know about them? Most people think they're just myths." "We just learned," Crixnax admitted. "What do you know?" Kevin smiled. "Well, according to these records, the Watchers made a deal with ancient humans. They needed something only we could provide." "What?" all 3 assassins asked at once. "That's the mystery," Kevin said. "The records don't say. But whatever it is, the Watchers have protected humanity ever since." He touched the crystal pillar. New symbols appeared, glowing softly. "This part talks about the protection," Kevin explained. "The Watchers don't just guard humans physically. They manipulate probability itself, make the unlikely likely, turn certain death into narrow escapes." The assassins exchanged glances. Everything made sense now. "But why?" Bekthal asked, climbing back into the chamber. "What makes humans special?" Kevin shrugged. "I've been trying to figure that out. The records mention something about human consciousness. Our dreams, our imagination, but it's all very vague. Suddenly the chamber began to shake. Cracks appeared in the ancient walls. "We should leave," Kevin said calmly. "These old structures aren't very stable." They ran for the exit as the ceiling collapsed behind them. Once outside, they watched the entire structure crumble into dust. "Well, that's unfortunate," Kevin sighed. "I was hoping to study it more." The three assassins stared at him. Any other being would have died in that collapse. But Kevin had walked out without a scratch. The Watchers were real, and their protection was absolute. Lisa Morgan stared at the brain scan data on her screen. As a sleep researcher on Station Omega-7, she had studied thousands of different species. But humans were unique. "Computer, compare human REM patterns to all other known species," she commanded. Domain. Results appeared instantly. Humans spent nearly twice as much time in dream sleep as any other intelligent species. More than that, their brain activity during dreams was off the charts. "Fascinating," she muttered, not noticing the three aliens, who had quietly entered her lab. Crixnax, Zareth, and Bekthal had come seeking answers. After the ruins, they knew the Watchers were real. Now they needed to understand the connection. "Dr. Morgan?" Crixnax spoke softly. Lisa jumped, then smiled. "Oh, hello. I didn't hear you come in. Can I help you?" "We're interested in your research on human sleep patterns," Zareth said carefully. "Really? Most people find it boring," Lisa laughed. "But yes, I've discovered something incredible. Humans dream differently than every other species." She pulled up more data. "Look at these energy readings. During REM sleep, human brains produce a unique type of quantum resonance. We don't know what it means, but it's measurable." The assassins leaned forward. This was what they had been looking for. "Has anyone studied where this energy goes?" Bekthal asked. Lisa frowned. "Goes? Energy doesn't go anywhere. It just dissipates." "Does it?" Crixnax wondered aloud. That night, they set up secret monitoring equipment in the human dormitory section. They watched as humans fell asleep one by one. The readings were astonishing. As each human entered dream sleep, streams of energy flowed from their minds. The energy didn't dissipate. It went somewhere else, somewhere beyond normal space. "They're feeding them," Zareth realized. "The Watchers, they're feeding on human dreams." It all made sense now. The protection wasn't free. Humans paid for it without even knowing. Every night as they dreamed, they fed cosmic entities with the energy of their consciousness. "It's farming," Bekthal said with a mix of horror and amazement. "The Watchers are farming humans." But it wasn't cruel farming. It was symbiotic. Humans lost nothing from dreaming. They woke refreshed, unaware that their dreams had fed godlike beings. In return, those beings kept them safe from all harm. The next day, Lisa noticed strange readings in her data. "Computer, what's causing these quantum fluctuations in the dream data?" "Unknown external influence detected," the computer replied. "Pattern suggests non-local quantum entanglement." Lisa's eyes widened. "Show me the entanglement pattern." The display showed connections stretching beyond normal space-time. Energy flowing from sleeping humans to somewhere else. "This is impossible," she whispered. "Unless..." She ran to her bookshelf and pulled out an old Earth text. Ancient myths about dreams being doorways to other realms. Stories of dream entities that protected sleeping humans. It was true, she breathed. All of it was true. The assassins watched her discovery through hidden cameras. They saw her connecting the dots, understanding what they now knew. "Should we stop her from publishing this?" Bekthal asked. "No," Crixnax decided. "Humans deserve to know. They should understand the bargain their ancestors made." Lisa worked through the night, documenting everything. The energy patterns, the quantum connections, the correlation between dream intensity and the strength of human luck. She titled her paper, "The Dream Symbiosis, evidence of extra-dimensional energy exchange during human REM sleep. As she finished, she felt a presence in the room. Not threatening, just watching, approving. "Thank you," she whispered to the empty air, "for keeping us safe." The presence faded, but she knew it was still there. Always there. Watching, protecting. Fed by the dreams of billions of humans across the galaxy. The assassins met one final time. "So that's it," Zareth said. "We can't kill humans because they're livestock for cosmic entities." "Protected livestock," Bechtel corrected. "The most protected beings in the universe." "What do we tell our clients?" Crixnax wondered. They all knew the answer. The truth. That humans were untouchable because they fed the gods with their dreams. And those gods were very protective of their food source. The three assassins stood in the observation deck of Station Omega-7, watching a group of human children on a field trip. Their latest plan was desperate, maybe even foolish. The boy with the red shirt, Crixnax pointed. Derek Campbell, age 7. "Our scans show his dream signature is weaker than adult humans. You think the Watchers protect children less?" Zareth asked doubtfully. "It's our only option," Bechthal said. "Our reputation is ruined. The Syndicate is demanding results. If we can't kill even one human..." They didn't need to finish the thought. Failure meant death in their profession. Derek. Campbell was playing with alien children, laughing as they taught each other games from their home worlds. He seemed completely ordinary. No guards, no special protection. "Remember," Crixnax said, "we attack together. Maximum force. Even the Watchers can't stop everything at once." They moved into position. Three of the deadliest beings in the galaxy, targeting one small boy. It felt wrong, but they had no choice. The moment came when Derek wandered slightly, away from the group, chasing a floating toy. The assassins struck. Crixnax fired an energy net. Zareth launched poison darts. Bechthal phased through the floor to grab the child's ankles. Reality twisted. The air itself seemed to scream. Colors that shouldn't exist flashed across their vision. The station's metal walls rippled like water. And then they appeared. The Watchers, materialized not as beings, but as tears in spacetime. Impossible geometries that hurt to look at. Forms that existed in more dimensions than the mind could process. The energy net dissolved into butterflies. The poison darts turned into soap bubbles. Bechthal found himself phased into a children's playground surrounded by laughing toddlers. But the Watchers weren't finished. One of them focused on the assassins. Reality bent around them. They felt themselves being examined. Thoughts that weren't their own filled their minds. "Why do you hunt the dreamers?" The voice was like thunder made of mathematics. It spoke in concepts rather than words. "Contract, mission. We had to..." Crixnax tried to explain, but the concepts seemed childish before these entities. "The dreamers are ours. They feed us. We protect them." Images flooded their minds, the birth of the universe. The first humans learning to dream. The contract made in prehistoric times. Humans offering their dreams in exchange for protection from a hostile universe. "We have allowed your attempts as tests. The protection holds. It will always hold." The assassins saw the truth. Every failed assassination wasn't bad luck. It was the Watchers playing with them, testing their own protection systems, using the assassins as tools to ensure humans remained safe. "Now you understand. Spread the word. Humans are not to be touched." The presence began to fade, but not before showing them one final vision. Billions of humans across thousands of worlds, all dreaming. Each dream a thread of energy feeding into cosmic beings that existed beyond time and space. Derek Campbell continued playing, completely unaware of what had happened. The other children joined him and their laughter echoed through the station. The three assassins found themselves back in the observation deck, shaking and changed forever. "We were never going to succeed," Zareth whispered. "Not once. They've been watching everything, Bechthal added. Every attempt. Every failure. Crixnax nodded slowly. We need to tell everyone. Every assassin, every mercenary, every warrior in the galaxy. Humans are off limits. They looked at Derek one last time. The boy waved at them cheerfully before running back to his class. You know what's funny? Crixnax said. Humans don't even know how special they are. They think they're ordinary, vulnerable. Maybe that's part of the protection, Zareth suggested. If they knew, would they still dream the same way? They left the observation deck with a new mission. Not to kill, but to spread the word. Humans were untouchable, not because they were strong or advanced, but because they fed the gods with their dreams. And those gods were very, very protective of their food source. The emergency meeting took place in the Grand Assembly Hall of Station Omega-7. Representatives from every major species in the galaxy had gathered. At the center stood a group of humans, looking confused and slightly worried. Jennifer Phillips, a human philosopher, spoke first. You called us here to discuss what exactly? The Galactic Council chairman, a being made of pure energy, pulsed with different colors as it spoke. We have discovered the truth about your species, about why you cannot be harmed. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Most species had experienced the frustration of being unable to harm humans, though few admitted it openly. The truth? John Martinez, the diplomat, asked. What truth? Crixnax stepped forward. He had been chosen to explain, having witnessed the Watchers directly. Your species has protectors, beings of immense power who feed on your dreams. The humans looked at each other in disbelief. That's ridiculous, Sarah Bennett said. We're just ordinary beings like everyone else. No, Zareth interrupted. You are not. Your dreams create energy that feeds entities beyond our understanding. In return, they protect you from all harm. Lisa Morgan, who had discovered the dream energy patterns, stood up. Actually, I can confirm this. My research shows human dreams produce unique quantum signatures that disappear into somewhere else. The assembly erupted in chaos. Some species demanded proof. Others called for the humans to be expelled from the galactic community. A few suggested trying to capture this dream energy for themselves. Suddenly the lights flickered. The air grew thick. Reality itself seemed to bend. The Watchers arrived. They manifested as shadows of impossible shapes, filling the hall with their presence. Every being present felt their minds touched by something vast and ancient. We are the Watchers, the thought echoed in every mind. The humans are ours. The assembly fell silent. Even the energy beings dimmed their glow. The agreement was made long ago. Humans dream, we feed, we protect. This is the way. Jennifer Phillips, trembling but curious, asked, Why us? Why humans? Your species dreams unlike any other. Your consciousness creates what we need: imagination, creativity, emotion. These things sustain us. But we never knew, Kevin Harris protested. Knowledge was not required. Only dreams. The Watchers showed everyone present the same vision the assassins had seen. The ancient agreement. The flow of dream energy. The absolute protection granted. In return, Are we slaves? Derek Campbell's mother asked, holding her son close. No. You are partners. You lose nothing by dreaming. We give everything by protecting. The council chairman pulsed rapidly. What happens now that we know? Nothing changes. Humans dream. We protect. Any who attempt harm will face us. The message was clear. The galaxy had to accept this new reality. As the Watchers began to fade, they left one final thought. Humans may now choose. Continue as before or embrace your role consciously. The protection remains either way. After they vanished, the assembly sat in stunned silence. Jennifer Phillips was the first to speak. We need time to process this, to understand what it means for humanity. What it means, the council chairman said, is that humans are the most protected species in the galaxy, and now we know why. The human delegation huddled together, discussing their next steps. Some were frightened, others were fascinated. All were changed by the revelation. "We should study this," Lisa Morgan suggested. "Understand our relationship with the Watchers better. And we should tell our people," John Martinez added. "They deserve to know." Sarah Bennett nodded. "But carefully, this knowledge could change how people dream. We don't want to break the connection." As the assembly dispersed, every species left with a new understanding. Humans weren't weak or lucky. They were essential to beings of unimaginable power. The three assassins watched from the back of the hall. Their mission had led to this moment. The greatest secret in the galaxy was now known. Humans were untouchable because they fed the gods with their dreams. 6 months had passed since the revelation. The galaxy had changed forever. In the headquarters of the Valeth Syndicate, Crixnack stood before the Grand Master. The ancient Assassins Guild had adapted to the new reality. "All contracts involving humans have been permanently cancelled," Crixnax reported. "The warning has spread to every corner of known space." The Grand Master nodded. "And the other guilds?" "The same. No one dares risk the Watchers' anger. Humans are officially classified as untouchable in all assassination databases." On Earth, Jake Williams adjusted his formal robes. He had been chosen as humanity's first ambassador to the Watchers. It was a strange job since the Watchers didn't have a physical location or regular communication. "Ready?" Jennifer Phillips asked. She was now leading the Department of Dream Studies, a new branch of human government. "As ready as anyone can be to talk to cosmic entities," Jake smiled nervously. They entered the specially built dream chamber. Using Lisa Morgan's research, humans had learned to consciously connect with the Watchers during meditation. Jake closed his eyes and focused. The familiar sensation of reality bending filled the room. "Ambassador." The Watcher's presence filled his mind. "You seek communication?" "Yes," Jake thought back. "Humanity wants to understand our relationship better. To be true partners, not just unconscious providers. Your consciousness evolves. This pleases us." Images flowed through Jake's mind. The Watchers showed him other species they had tried to form bonds with. All had failed. Only humans could dream in the way they needed. "We want to explore this partnership," Jake continued. "Can humans learn to direct their dream energy to help you more efficiently?" "Perhaps. We will guide those who wish to learn." Meanwhile, across human space, dream schools were opening. Children learned about their special connection to the Watchers. Adults practiced lucid dreaming techniques to strengthen the bond. Sarah Bennett now led a research team studying the physical effects of the protection. They had discovered that humans who embraced their role as dreamers had even stronger protection than before. The galactic community had also adapted. Humans were now treated with a mixture of respect and unease. Some species worshipped them as chosen ones. Others kept their distance, uncomfortable with beings who had cosmic protectors. In the Nebula Bar, 3 former assassins shared drinks. "Business has changed," Zareth said. "Now we're bodyguards for species who fear the Watchers might protect humans too aggressively." Bechthal laughed. "Ironic. We went from trying to kill humans to protecting others from their protectors." Crixnax raised his glass. "To the strangest contract we ever failed." On Station Omega-7, Derek Campbell was now 8 years old. He attended the first dream school, learning to consciously shape his dreams. His teacher explained how their dreams fed beings of incredible power. "But why do they need our dreams?" Derek asked. The teacher smiled. "The Watchers exist outside time and space. They're incredibly powerful, but lack something we have: imagination. Our dreams give them what they cannot create themselves." In his office, John Martinez reviewed the new galactic treaties. Humans were now legally recognized as a protected species. Any attempt to harm them was considered an act of war against the Watchers themselves. Lisa Morgan published her latest research. Human dream energy had increased by 30% since the revelation. People were dreaming more vividly, more creatively, knowing their dreams had cosmic importance. As night fell across Earth, billions of humans prepared for sleep, but now they did so with purpose. They were dreamers, feeding entities that had protected humanity since the dawn of time. In the space between spaces, the Watchers observed their human partners with something like affection. The relationship had evolved from unconscious symbiosis to conscious cooperation, and in assassination guilds across the galaxy, the message was clear and permanent. Humans are untouchable, not because they are strong or advanced, but because they dream. The strange reason humans were untouchable by alien assassins was no longer a mystery. It was a known fact of the universe. Humans dreamed, the Watchers fed, and the protection remained absolute. The universe had learned to accept this truth, and in accepting it had found a new kind of peace.